Okay, we are going live now. What would be great is Yaeli for the Jerusalem English Theater Green Room. I can't because now we are live.
Hooray.
Jet live. Welcome. It's April 30th. We've been doing this for about 2 weeks. I'm so excited to have Starcatchers, Jeff Rosenschein, Yaeli Greenblatt, and Yaeli Kaplan Wildmann here with me. Let's get started as soon as I find, there we go. Okay, so guys, thank you so much. Oh wait, I also just got to mention that it's amazing your backgrounds here. You don't have to do any virtual backgrounds because you got the best backgrounds ever. Jeff is in his office. He's got Jerusalem Stone behind him. His computer is actually in front of him, but that's what he does. Not just playing piano. He also works with computers. So there you have it. Yaeli's got her books, her bookshelf, her huge bookshelf over there.
Full of classics.
All classics. And then we got Yaeli with his art room, his construction room, his creative space. It looks amazing. I wonder what he's working on.
My puppet storage.
His puppet storage. Cool. That is awesome. Puppets. Who do you make puppets for? What do you mean? You made puppets for
just this one. Just this one.
That one. Oh, little Audrey.
Audrey too.
Huh.
She's still there from Yaeli's birthday video.
How was that? Yaeli, how was that? What was your reactions?
I was trying to share the thing and failed. What was my reaction? It was amazing. Yeah, so I mean, not everyone knows, but my sister organized this musical theater birthday video for me with a lot of our community people singing Seasons of Love. And it was just amazing. Like, it started off with just my sister, so I thought it was like a regular video, and then all these people started popping up. Yeah, it was like a really emotional moment, just because, you know, it's my birthday, but I'm alone at home, can't see anyone, or I haven't seen a lot of these people in so long. And so it was very nice to feel connected again. And there were even people from abroad, from New York, that have been in the community but have left since and kind of live all around. So it was amazing.
Wow. It's difficult to have. It's difficult in one way, and still, like, it's amazing to have birthdays now because you have that opportunity to have people from across the country just joining in.
Yeah, there's like this whole new culture of Zoom videos and Zoom songs. And
You guys think it's gonna end, or we're gonna have birthdays like that for all time? Birthdays, and this is a new wedding platform too, right? People don't need to have the live stream.
We had a virtual Yom Ha'atzmaut barbecue yesterday. Wow. You know, things like that. I mean, some of them will go away when we go back to the real thing. But we've also had family meetings stretching over a couple continents, so that's something that could continue.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I've had meetings with family as well. So we're here today to talk about the theater, what's happening during COVID-19, and Starcatcher actually was in middle of a production at the time when all of this hit. And it was an amazing production. I was lucky enough to see it pretty much opening night, and almost opening night. I think it's the second show, Saturday night. And I was blown away. Like the art that you guys do every year just keeps on getting stronger and stronger, and the shows that you choose are so challenging. And it's just amazing the community you bring together. And it was really unfortunate for everybody to see that happen to Chicago here. And what do you guys, how do you guys feel about that? Like, what was your reactions during that time? How are you feeling about it now? Is there a different, is there a silver lining maybe somewhere?
I'm super optimistic. I don't think of specifically regarding Chicago. I don't see a silver lining. I mean, the whole Corona thing personally, I've seen like in the way it affected me as a little bit of a good thing. It's been terrible. There's no money. There's no work. It's been difficult, but there's been something nice about leaving the kind of regular life that we're used to and having time to be just really alone, and do things that I didn't think I would ever do. But for Chicago, it was very hard.
Yeah.
Because I really feel that with our shows, especially with, this is true mostly of community theater and not of professional theater and not of any other type of art. I always think of it as it all aligning perfectly, magically, just for those 2 or 3 weeks, and everything lines up perfectly, and then it all goes back in other directions. And anytime people are like, oh, you should be in the Heights again for 2 more performances in September, it's like that it doesn't work that way. You can't just like make everything's held together like the house of the Weasleys in Harry Potter, where like it magically is held together. And it's really hard to see it not come to fruition. We do hope to bring it back because it was so good and so few people got to see it, and it was just such an achievement. And we hope that people will want to see it, but I mean, we don't know about that. But in any case, it was very, very, very disappointing.
Just to add 2 things to that. One is I was thinking about this the other day, how crazy it was when it happened, because I mean, now we've adjusted so quickly. And now that Eurovision has been canceled and all the sports things have been canceled, it's like such an obvious thing to everyone that we shut down shows. But as it was happening, it happened so quickly. Like it moved, I remember it moved from, a restriction of 5,000 people. And we're like, okay, this is a very, very far from something that will affect us. And then it changed to 2,000 people. And then from that, it all of a sudden became impossible for us to be able to do the show. And just to make that decision to shut it down was like, I think one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with in a community theater kind of production aspect. And so that was really hard. But then the other thing was that once that happened, we felt so much love and support from the community and just all of the people who were posting and writing, and kind of giving us that feeling of, we're in this together, was really a beautiful thing for us to see.
So I understand that usually at this time or close to this time, you're already thinking of the next steps. You've ended your run in March and you start immediately afterwards. That's what we got to do, is just thinking about the next steps of what we're doing for the next year. Catching those rights. I think Chicago, you guys are running for those rights for a while. So just get 7 years. Wow.
7 years. 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It takes almost that amount of time to even create an original work. So that's just getting
Something wrote is a lot faster than that. Actually,
those rights. Wow, 7 years. So you really jump onto to getting those rights for the next year to make sure that you have your show. You know what it is, and you like.
I was just going to say, it's been different in different years, CB. It's sometimes we do it right away. With Chicago specifically, because we knew that we wanted again to try to get the rights. We turned to them very quickly after the last show, after In the Heights. But there have been other years where we waited a few months, let things percolate, discussions, more discussions, and deciding over the summer. So it's been different years.
Right, and you usually have like a launch party, like an announcement of what the show is.
Oh yeah,
those are some of the coolest creative moments of Starcatcher as well. The way you announce the shows, where so many people are always like trying to second guess and figure it out, and I'm just gonna shout out to Richie. He's amazing at keeping secrets.
Oh yeah.
Everyone bugs him.
Oh yeah.
He throws people through a loop all the time. But that is the process and of figuring out the next show, what's happening the next year. Are things able to? Are you going through the same process, or is it maybe a little bit different now with what's going on? Is there's optimism? I mean, Yaeli mentioned maybe putting Chicago up again. I wonder if that's something that has been discussed already with the company that has given the rights, or is that something that like you think companies will be willing to do that, or it's a whole new conversation that you have to like reapply and everything? Have you even thought about those?
I can answer that. It's as far as the licensing rights, we still have them. All of the companies that have been handling licensing rights for community theater have been very flexible, and they let us be, they let it be known. Obviously, we know what happened. It's like it's not a unique case,
right.
And they said we're just like clicking in the computer, frozen, basically, and let us know what you're going to do.
Oh, amazing, amazing.
So yeah, it is.
Really...
I was very pleasantly surprised, frankly, that they were so flexible about it.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is that we just don't know. You need a lot of kind of knowledge in advance to be able to pull something like that off. And at the moment, I think that we, just like every other theater company in Jerusalem, we don't know enough about what's going to happen to be able to plan even in a more definite way. We don't know how many people are going to be allowed to congregate and when, and the safety of our actors and our audience is kind of the number one thing on the list. So at the moment, it's very hard to sort of be able to plan anything definite. And also, as soon as it's going to happen, as soon as anyone's going to be able to put on a show, I'm sure a lot of different companies are going to want to do it all at once. So as crazy as our community is usually, where there's always a show going on, or maybe 2 or maybe 3, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen once we can do shows again, because there might be 17 productions running at the same time.
The other thing is that there's going to be the formal opening up and the formal rules, and then there's going to be the informal psychology of audiences and whether they want to start going back to movie theaters and regular theaters, and whether they feel safe. Who knows? Who knows when that will be?
Right. That's I've been talking about that a lot. That there's also the audience to take in account. And actually, Ken Davenport, who I get he's the inspiration for all of what I'm doing here. He writes also about how Broadway needs to kind of see what's happening. He talks actually about Broadway should be the last place to open up, and what really Broadway should be looking at is the regional theaters and the community theaters, us, to open up and to start bringing back shows, because Broadway has thousands and thousands of people coming into one theatrical space, and we can maybe have smaller audiences and create a way that works, and then they will take into account what we're doing. So that's really cool to hear him talk about how much community theater and regional theater really is going to play a role in bringing back the arts into live theater.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about community theater is that we have the ability to be more flexible and more creative. And I mean, if the guideline is, there can't be audiences, maybe we do something completely different where one person at a time sees the show, or, smaller groups, or already, I mean, people have been so creative about shifting immediately into a different medium and a different way of thinking about how they make their art and how they do everything. And I feel like, as you say, regional and community theaters have more of the ability to do that than Broadway, that is a very, very specific model of how you fund and how you create.
So now we've talked about what's going to happen with Starcatcher. What about you guys? Like, what have you been doing during this time? Any creative projects? Anything that's been keeping you guys active? Your own personal things, or maybe has Starcatcher? Have you guys like come together to have conversations yet about how to be creative during this time? Finding new mediums, maybe. I mean, we were talking about musicals, how it's a little bit hard to have them done through this kind of medium. But anything that you guys want to share?
I sang for Yaeli's video. Yaeli sang for Yaeli's video.
That was awesome.
That was an artistic effort.
Yeah, I
Cool.
mean,
I think I've been a consumer more than a creator here for the last 6 weeks, watching a lot of stuff that I might not have had a chance to watch otherwise.
Me too. We should compare lists, Jeff. What have you been watching?
One of the things that I saw was Bandstand, which I had never seen, and they did a live stream of it. Not a live stream, sorry. They did a limited stream of it from Playbill.com, and I watched it twice. It was surprisingly good. Particularly the choreography.
Is that going to change the
Blankenbuehler
ideas of what to do in the future? Yeah, I mean, there's
no, not particularly. I mean, it was just personally, the show had lots of issues, but it was so wonderful to see a full, wonderful production of a Broadway show, even with all the problems that it had. To see the singing and to see the orchestration, hear the orchestrations and see the dancing. It was delightful. It was just, but just the ability now to see filmed productions is great.
That's one of the themes of COVID now, is that there's so much creativity being given to people to be able to be consumers and be able to watch, and something that it's hard to do because there is so much. But something that's really cool is that we, as creators, by taking in other people's creations and watching them and seeing them, we are inspired by them. Is it so? Or we can be. We could take the plays that we read or the musicals that we see, and then come back and be like, I want to do this, or I want to maybe take that and put it into my own stuff. So, any inspirations from what you watched, other than just like, this was really cool? Maybe Yaeli, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've also been consuming a lot. I've been watching a lot of Broadway things that I haven't gotten a chance to see, and then some Shakespeare plays. Also, when Nathan was on your Jet Live thing, he mentioned some funding for projects that are happening at home and helping artists. So it's funny he mentioned that, because Aron and I are actually participating in the municipality one. I think it's called Yotzrim Babayit. So if people want to go check that out on the municipality website, there's links to all kinds of pieces and things that people are able to do at home or to just share from home. Yeah, and then just watching. I think it's nice to be able to kind of spend time consuming other people's art. This in any way is sort of the hiatus time for Starcatcher, when we mostly do kind of background work, and we always talk to each other, and running a theater is a year-round thing, even when you're not rehearsing a show. So we're doing some of that as well.
I've found that the Metropolitan Opera is having all these, like they're sort of opening their archives, and each thing is available only for 24 hours, and operas tend to be 4 hours, 5 hours. So it really, at the beginning I felt a lot of pressure. I was like, oh my God, La Boheme is only available for these 24 hours. I have to watch it. and I'd binging on, I'd start at midnight and end up watching a 4-hour opera starting at midnight, and because I have to do it, it's never going to be again. And then there was Wagner week, and Wagner is even longer. And so it really, but it's amazing because, and now they're starting to like scrape the bottom of the barrel and release like much older things that are not like even things that I've heard of, and stuff that's like with famous opera singers from much longer ago. And it's been really cool. When I lived in New York, I would go see opera because you could get a $25 ticket if you like waited in line from the morning. That's how I was able, and I had friends who worked at the Met, and sometimes I would get really good tickets. But then now I don't really see much opera anymore. And I don't have an online manui, like a subscription. So to suddenly be able to get back to that has been really nice. And it's really the best. They do it the best there. It's cool.
All right. Anybody have any questions? I see there's a bunch of people watching with us.
Are they? Ooh, how many?
Right now we have 9 views, probably including myself. I don't know. I never know if that's including me. You can
Hi,
say hi,
9
everybody.
people.
Gabby Shine Halavai, she commented. Gabby, if you want to share with Yaeli, and Jeff what you meant by that, at which point, I'm sure you can contact them right now. You can comment, or you can contact them afterwards. Be like, this was really awesome. What were you talking about? Well, this is what I was talking about. I said, Halavai. I know Richie was watching. Hadar, actually, from In the Heights.
Oh my gosh.
As well. So yeah, there's a few people.
I've been.
So we'll just wait a few more minutes to see if anybody makes any comments.
One thing I'm doing, which is nice, I've been writing a musical about Jerusalem for the past bunch of years now. And in November, we had a presentation in New York with a new director her name is Katie Davis. She was the associate director on Moulin Rouge and Beetlejuice for Alex Timbers. And she was really cool, and we had great actors. And the reading, which we did in November, it was like pretty disappointing, and it didn't come together, and the show just felt like it didn't work at all. We've been working on this for years, and nothing's really happened with it. And we were kind of like, the three of us were ready. Not necessarily, no one said this out loud, but we were like, how long do we just keep working on this thing? Ugh. And then, so we said, well, let's talk to the director just to like see what she thinks. And we had this amazing phone call with her where she was like, yeah, we need to change this and do this. And she was super gung-ho about it and wanted to work. And she gave us really good ideas for changes that were good, hard, like big changes, but good changes. So in the past few weeks now, we've been on Zoom working on the show, and it's so nice to be able to work on something and to come together, and to set, it's something that felt like it was kind of at the end and maybe would never happen, now suddenly feels like it has a new lease on life. So I'm the book writer, and it's been a lot of work. Like, it's mostly in my court now, the book writing, like all these crazy, we've taken out a male character. I'm always happy to cut men. So, just been rewriting stuff, staying up late after the opera, rewriting.
Wow. That's awesome.
How about you, CB? Are you guys still developing things and working off Zoom on your project?
So I'm actually, I decided I contacted a few people. I really am interested in doing something else. The problem is finding plays that people can really share with each other from online when you can't really physically give somebody a play. And I have a bunch of copies of plays here. I have like over 100 plays in my house, but like finding ones that I can actually share with people has been a challenge. But Natan talked about the new play exchange, and I'm planning to join it and then maybe contact. What I did already the past 2 times is I basically was in touch with the authors, with Yasmin Beverly Rana, and also with Ira Fuchs when I did Paradise and I did Vilna, and I plan to go on that platform and be able to contact the actual authors. And yeah, hi Dallas, and
Frozen.
I lost CB.
And see if they're willing to like. And Adam Burke, I mentioned this in one of his theory. He mentions like go directly to the writers, go directly to skip the agents. Actually, really interested.
I think we're losing our interviewer.
Then maybe you can work directly with them. So do you hear me? I could hear me.
Kind of breaking
you're
up a little
going
bit.
in and out. Going in and out.
Oh, maybe I should speak. Oh, Marty commented. And I'm looking for. There's Gabby mentioned. By the way, what? Anyways, what is happening is the Center Stage Israel is doing 5-minute play festivals, and I thought instead of doing our own or me doing something like that, because that sounds like a really really amazing idea, I'm just gonna join them. And I actually started writing something. They announced another submission. You can go to their submissions are for 10th 5-minute plays. So I'm writing. I wrote something. Dina's gonna help me edit, and
it's amazing.
That's what I've been working on.
I think maybe not everyone knows this about the Jerusalem community, or even people who have been doing shows. Maybe don't know how many people are actually developing their own original works, and it's like so impressive. I mean, as you two know, it like really often takes years to develop, but just the ones that I know about, there's so many people developing new musicals and writing either the book or the music or both. And it's really, really cool that there are new original works kind of coming out of our kind of little neighborhoods, our community. So if this craziness is giving people an opportunity to spend more time with their own writing, power to them.
There's a lot. There's been a lot. I mean, what's Miriam Metzinger wrote something in A Stranger's Grave, and she's working on something else. And I know Yardena Buxner has been writing. There's a lot of people in the community that have been developing original works. It's really, really amazing. Just wanted to point out that Daniel Lewin says hi. Marty Wiesel.
Hi.
Hi.
I can't seem to find Gabby's comment, but you could look afterwards what she was mentioning about that. And yeah, so basically there is a lot going on now, and there's a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of opportunities to be consumed and also to create. And you guys are really just amazing creators and have done such amazing shows in the past. What is it now? 6 years? 7 years? It's about 7 years, right?
6.5.
7 years, right? We said like the Chicago rates, and even more so. I mean, if you go to jetcommunity.org, you could see the interview that I did with set designers, and Yaeli talks about how he started when he was like 12 years old doing the community. And it's just amazing.
And Yaeli.
Yeah, in a show, there was one show.
Yaeli, you too?
There was this show that Ali was. It was your first design show.
Yeah.
And it was my first show on stage or ever anything connected to community theater, and also Robert Binder's first show.
Robert's first show. It's like historic. And it was in my portfolio for years. And then only later did I meet Yaeli and start working with Rob. It's very,
which show?
Once Upon a Mattress.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Once Upon a Mattress.
You were in that too?
No. I wasn't. Yaeli was in there, right?
I was
Yaeli, yeah.
And a bunch more of like, hardcore community people who've been in shows basically ever since. I was in that show and then took a break for 12 years. And then came back after the army. But as a kid, I was like in this show as a little ballerina girl. I don't think I had a character name or anything like that. And Robert opened the show. He was the minstrel, it's called?
Yeah, the minstrel.
Yeah. And I was doing like this little ballet thing. And then disappeared for like a bunch of years. It was pretty cool. I mean, I remember what it was like as a kid to kind of see how everyone was excited about it. And I was really I looked up to all the actors who were kind of doing these cool roles.
Wow. I mean, that's what's so amazing also about the community. Like we can intend. I'm just gonna pause that for a second. There we go. I found the comment.
Hooray.
I'm just gonna. It's amazing that in 10 years from now, people that met through your theater will be doing theater. I really believe that. That's what's so amazing about our community. And that's so cool that Yaeli, you were with Yaeli in the. Oh my gosh, that's just.
We didn't even know each other. It's not like we didn't even speak. There was. I mean, these shows there were 50 people in them, and I myself was the deer in the headlights. For me, it was a big deal. I was in 11th grade, and I was designing a set for a jest show, which for me was the pinnacle of what you can do in Jerusalem. It kind of was. On the Gerard Bechar stage, a big stage with big audiences. It was a big deal. And you can see how, especially as someone, we've all been involved for so long, you just see how the cycle works and how people go from here to here to here. And I recently started this camp that I now do in the summers. I don't know if they'll be this summer, but the Jelly Camp, and it's a theater camp. And you just see how people, they go to Jelly Camp and then they go be in Rob's shows and then come to our shows. And it's very cool. And the future, it's true. Yes, people are gonna, take over from us and start doing things themselves and start more companies and ideas.
Yeah, whenever I work with Encore and on one of their shows that has a lot of kids, like The King and I, there were 1,000 kids there coming in twos with their little dance that we did. I always look around and I'm like, I wonder if I can tell which one of them is the future director, the future choreographer, because I feel like you can sort of tell their personalities, which one of them are kind of leaders and are really, really into it. The kids who already know all the lyrics to Hamilton and know who Sondheim is when they're 7 years old. Those are good signs to me that they can carry the torch forward.
That's awesome. That's awesome that the torch can be carried forward. So and also just I remember Daniel Fox. He was in HMS Pinafore, the first show that I did in 2012, and memorizing everything, and it was kind of interesting to see and where he's brought himself to and what he's done. It's just so amazing to see the growth of people in the community as well. And now he's in the army, and hopefully after the army he'll join back.
Yeah, it's not just our community. That's the cool thing, is like musical theater is having its moment, and it's cool now. These theater geeks are taking over somehow, and like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is just, and Glee. I mean, like, it all started with, you could even say, with Chicago, with the Chicago movie and the Moulin Rouge movie in the early 2000s, and how slowly musical theater became the thing. Glee, and then Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and like mainstream culture, and Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, In the Heights movie, all these things that are, it's like major celebrities who are theater geeks. And it's so gratifying, because that was, you know, they were all like us. Like Yaeli was saying, they were those kids. And now those kids are running show business. It's really good.
Yeah. And La La Land is considered a musical. It's not even considered a movie.
Well, don't talk to me about that.
You don't like La La Land?
I actually do. I actually like La La Land.
In a bunch of posters.
Going on the record.
But no, that's what I saw a couple of posts recently, and apparently they don't even write movie musical. It's a musical. So Gabby Shine, she was responding to you, Yaeli, about how you said that lots of plays will all be wanting to happen at once if things eventually get back to normal. So that, like, they'll just be like so many things. Everybody's gonna come. 17 productions. How's it gonna happen? There's 13 companies, 17 productions. There's probably gonna be like,
you mark my words, CV. I mean, it's a little bit of a party,
they'll all be about Corona.
Every month there's a new company in Jerusalem, and then one will split into two, and one will do two productions, because there'll be like a kids play and a grown-ups play, and then so
it's like a virus. It's exponential growth.
But it's great. It's great to have all the community together and
amazing.
Creating. So on that note, we'll end now. Tonight at 8 p.m. IDT Israel time, Sarah Durey, Rivka's sister, will be joining us. She actually was involved with some shows in the community. She always came to like visit Rivka when she was in shows, and there were a couple of shows where she actually had to be hands-on. So you'll hear about that tonight. That's it we got for now. Hopefully we'll have more guests joining us in the coming weeks. You're welcome to send us an email at jerusalemenglishteater@gmail.com, or just write to me, and we'll put you in. We have a doodle also that I shared, and just keep creating, and this was amazing to see everybody and joking and smiling, and so amazing the love that you guys are getting. I love the community, and I'm so glad that you guys joined me today. So
thank you,
have
CV.
a great
Thanks for having us.
weekend. And we'll hopefully very soon we'll be seeing each other in person. What?
Yes.
I'm in.
I missed that, Yaeli.
I was news to me that the weekend is anytime soon. I don't know what day we're on.
Yeah, especially there was a weekend yesterday or whatever it is.
Right.
I hear you.
Even crazier.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Great to see everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.